So you've decided to start creating content on Instagram in 2026. Maybe it's a New Year's resolution, or maybe you created content before, but in the new year you wanted to be really consistent and regular, and you're going to take content creation a little more serious, right? Specifically short form video. And let me tell you how it might turn out, okay? Let's say the first week you're all pumped up, you're all geared up to hit it out of the park, right? You have a few ideas and you've built a calendar for yourselves. You're pacing yourself. You're looking at things like, okay, in this day I will post this piece of content. This idea I will execute. This day I will shoot. This day I will edit, and then I will post it this time of the day. And yes, the next content will be 2 days later or 3 days later. And you have all of this planned. You even have a calendar. Everything is perfect. If that is your extent of gearing up to sustain yourself, to create content in this particular era of content creation, that is not enough. What's going to happen is you're going to be burnt out within a month or so. You can push yourself for a couple more months by sheer willpower, but trust me when I say this, you are going to be burnt out. Why am I saying all of this? Why am I being such a downer? Like, I'm supposed to be motivating you to keep going, but why am I starting like this? There is two very important reasons why you should listen to me and watch the full video. Firstly, last year, 2025, that was my New Year's resolution, which is to start creating content consistently and do something with it. So my initial goal was not to create content just like that, find a niche and then do my research on finding what content style suits me, right? And I started creating only in March. And by the end of 2025, I just crossed 100k followers. Okay, 100k followers in this day and age does not sound like much, in the sense, yes, it is a big achievement, but there are plenty of creators who are in their 500ks and the millions, right? Let me tell you one extra detail about that 100k. I made those 100k talking about something as niche as Formula One in a language that is spoken very limited in India, which is Tamil. It is not a national level language where we have audiences across the country. It is such a small niche, and I happened to hit 100k. So that is the first reason I had done it. I went through the journey of taking a New Year's resolution and creating content and being consistent. Now, the second reason you should definitely listen to me is because I have a sneaky unfair advantage, which is from 2021 to 2025, I worked at Meta in the content partnerships team. I joined in 2021 when the company was still called the Facebook company and Instagram was a separate vertical. I joined as India's one of the first few program managers, and that was specifically for Instagram Reels feature. Then, yes, a couple of reorganizations later, I ended up working as a strategic partner manager, working with creators. I, over the span of 4 years, have worked with literally thousands of creators. I have done reviews of people's accounts. I have helped creators who've been stuck in a follower count for like God knows how long, and suddenly push them over from like 500k to a million, or people who just started out hit 1 million from scratch. I've also done a lot of product launches or helped with a lot of product launches in India. So yes, that's my unfair advantage. I had 4 years of my career sitting on the platform side of things, watching how every content creator that I worked with behaved, how they created content, seeing data on how consistent they were, what kind of consistency brought what results, etc. So I genuinely did have a very unfair advantage. So when I started my content journey, obviously success was supposed to happen. If not, then it's like a question of my self-worth, right? Like, what was I doing in that company for 4 years, right? So now coming to the part of the burnouts, right? So the output of being a content creator is really fun. When you look at other creators, yes, the output that they make, it is super fun. They have nice engagement with the audience. People are commenting. There is a lot of attention on them. So the output of a content creation journey is always good. But the inputs that go through it, that as you know, takes a lot of effort. I know creating content can be really, really fun. Editing process and the planning and the engagement with the audience, all of that could be fun. But trust me, there is a major problem in 2026. Everybody is looking to be a content creator. Everybody is looking for that side hustle. Everybody is looking for that extra bit of attention that can boost their career or help them launch a brand or a product. They are good at something and they are thinking, okay, you know what, I am good at playing music. Maybe I can show off on Instagram and then get some clients so that I can teach them music. Or maybe I'm really good at copywriting. I can maybe work with a brand, help a brand go from 1x to 10x, and maybe create content around that so that I can get more clients for copywriting. Or maybe you're a good dancer, so you're thinking, you know what, I'll start doing these trends, I'll start doing these dance tutorials or my interpretations of dances so that maybe I get invited to some movie auditions or whatever, right? Like the opportunities are endless and the opportunities are so open, and that's the reason why in 2026 pretty much everybody wants to have a side hustle which is based on content creation. Creating content, it's a tough job on its own, and it is going to be even tougher if you're doing it part-time. You have a bad day at work and that's it. Your zone of creating content is already gone. You'll probably come home in a really bad mood, or you'd bring some of the work from your office to your home, and before you know it, the next time you put a piece of content out, it had taken so much of effort and patience, and it has taken so much of energy out of you to put that piece of content out there. And if it does not get views, if it does not get any engagement, if it does not get the kind of engagement that you are expecting, then definitely that is a recipe for burnout. Now, what is the definition of burnout? Burnout is basically a negative emotional feeling. So you feel like you are tired and you're doing your best, but the outcome is not coming. And there is a little bit of helplessness in there, thinking like, I'm doing my best, but I don't know where the results are. Like the results are not coming, or I am doing the same thing over and over again. Results are coming, but these are not the kind of results that I want. I wanted maybe a certain kind of results, but different kinds of results are coming. And if it keeps happening to you, that's when you will be headed towards a burnout. Personally, when I started creating content, my first plan of action was to make sure I created a system that avoided burnout completely. So here are 3 tips that I want to leave you with, 3 lessons that helped me personally to stay consistent and not get bogged down by burnout and survive 2025. Not just survive, thrive 2025. So here are those lessons. Number 1, don't get emotionally attached to your ideas. So what do I mean by that? Some of you might have already done this. A lot of times people start content creation with an idea in mind, right? I am going to start doing book reviews, or I'm going to do it in this way. I'm going to dance a certain way. I'm going to do trends a certain way. I'm going to have a unique spin on it. I'm going to talk into the camera a certain way, right? So they have these ideas already, and they are very proud of the ideas. They are like, this is my idea. This is how I am going to set myself apart in this crowded ecosystem, right? So what happens when that idea does not get the exact attention that you thought it would get? For example, let us say you had an amazing idea that involved a ton of effort, ton of editing hacks, and ton of camera changes and video angles and transitions and jump cuts and whatnot, and you put that piece of content out there and then it just doesn't perform, right? Deep down that the content is really good, the idea is really good, but the fact that it did not perform well is going to play in your head. This is a beginning for you to start feeling burnout if you are overplaying it over and over again. I created this piece of content with so much love and I did not see the response at all. Like this happens even to established creators who tell their audience on their story, I have spent so much time editing this video, go like, share, subscribe and whatnot. They say all of that and then they put the video up and maybe it doesn't perform and suddenly they feel dejected, and somehow it feels like an attack on their talent or attack on their creativity, right? So it is always good to be not emotionally attached to the idea. But then how do you actually do that? How can you not be emotionally attached to an idea? Don't start with the idea in the first place. Start with who you are as a person, right? I'll tell you my learning as a content creator talking about Formula One in Tamil in my channel. If you go to my profile and scroll all the way down, the first few reels that I made were explainer videos of Formula One memes, because I thought memes are really funny, memes are something that I like, and then I thought Tamil audiences needed to enjoy my unique take on memes. But if you see the latest few reels, none of what I did back then would match what I do right now. Right now, I am considered as one of those voices of opinions who doesn't do memes at all, who basically talks about things in a very unique perspective. I bring a perspective. I sometimes have a biased perspective also, but that is me, right? I talk about it in a more serious manner, right? How did that shift happen? Because when I started out, I prioritized just making content. I experimented with making memes. I made a reel which said why Royal Challengers Bangalore and Ferrari are the same team, right? It basically got no attention whatsoever. When I started getting attention on my content, I realized that people are tuning in to my content right after a race or a qualifying session is over to see my opinion and my take on it. And eventually I realized there are people who are regularly tuning in to see a weekly update from me. And then I started making some carousel posts, and then I realized the carousel post had its own fandom, and sometimes they even perform better than most of my reels. And then I started designing some really cool carousels. I've never done graphic design in my life, but I actually have some carousels that were designed basically on Canva. I don't even know how to use Photoshop, but on Canva I have used some templates and I've designed some stuff which has been appreciated by my followers. Bro, your designs are really too good. There are some comments underneath. How did I get from here to there? I never started with the idea. I just made sure that I was accessible, I was available, my face was out there, and my content was out there. And over a span of months, I realized what kind of content worked with certain audiences and what kind of content I liked doing. And then I found a easy enough sustainable way of doing it, and that's what kept me away from burnout. Because I didn't start with like, you know what, I will make this Max Verstappen edit or I will talk about Lewis Hamilton. No, I didn't start with any of that. And most of my content ideas come from my DMs. So when somebody says, Anna, what is this new update that I'm hearing? What is this chatter about this new change in regulations? Can you explain it? And then I make an explainer video, and that's it. That does well, right? So do not get attached to ideas. Stay true to yourself and just prioritize putting yourself consistently out there. Now, second tip or lesson that I want to share with you is do not overcomplicate your execution, right? When you're starting out, especially when you might not have help, you might not have some editor, or you might not have somebody who's a costume designer or helping you with your hair and makeup and whatnot. So do not overcomplicate your own work, right? Just because some other creator over there has executed something that is outrageous, you don't have to compete with them, right? Find an executable workflow for yourself. Let me tell you, this is my editing PC and this is my camera and this is the background that I use in most of my reels as well. So this is it. This is my simple setup. I don't complicate it. I don't have to go and shoot a wide shot of me doing something my kind of content doesn't need that, and I do not want to overcomplicate it. My setup is simple. I record, I transfer to my PC, I edit, I transfer to my phone, I post. That's it, right? Do not overcomplicate your execution, right? This is very, very important, especially if you're doing a lot of styling videos and even like dances and stuff like that, right? I'm a musician too, so I have tried posting music content before, right? I have done some covers with my wife, and trust me when I say this, it takes half a day to record a cover, right? Half a day to just record two vocals and a bunch of tracks, like a guitar track and a keyboard track and a drum track, right? It will take more than half a day of just audio, right? And then you sit on the video and then you edit and then you post, and if you get 65 views, yes, that is how I started off a few years back when I was posting music covers on my Instagram, right? If you complicate your workflow, if there are too many steps in it, you are definitely going to be burnt out, right? If you're a musician who is starting out on Instagram, keep your setup simple, right? Make sure your practice sessions, you have a camera up and then you start recording and you post, right? You don't have to come up with like a huge signal chain where you've done the mix and mastering all by yourself and then you go to your rooftop and have like some 6 different camera angles to create one music video. Yes, if that is going to be the only thing that you're going to do that week or month, then it is absolutely fine. But if you are planning to post every day or really consistent in 3 to 4 times a week, it is going to burn you out, right? Do not overcomplicate your workflow. And the third tip, lesson, I think this is the most important of them all. Numbers don't mean anything, okay? People mean something. Numbers don't mean anything, okay? I find it very cringe when some influencers or creators, they call their followers fans, okay? I don't think people are fans of anyone. Even now when somebody sends me a DM saying, bro, I'm a big fan, what I assume is that they like the content that I make and they are fascinated by my presence, like, saying stuff about Formula One and all of that. But the word fan is probably not what is the accurate representation of what they feel for me. They just are happy to see me, right? And this is the same with calling your colleagues friends, right? They are acquaintances. They are not friends, right? Same with numbers. Numbers are there as a byproduct. They mean absolutely nothing, okay? Do not chase numbers. Chase people, right? The number of people who are interacting with you now, the number of DMs that you get, the number of comments that you get, that's all meaningful because there is a real person that is leaving that feedback or a comment. So engage with them, be proud of them, be proud of the DMs that you get, but do not go into this rabbit hole of chasing views and follow accounts. Both views and follow accounts don't matter. You may have heard people say follow accounts don't matter, but why am I saying views also don't matter? Let me give you a nice little trivia, okay? I've spoken about my journey. I said I've gone from 0 to 100K in 9 months. And tell me how many of my videos have more than 1 million plus views. Okay, I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 0. Okay, now I'll ask another question. Tell me how many of my videos have more than 500K views. Okay, I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 2. How did I get to 100K where not a single one of my videos have crossed 1 million views? That is the power of being consistent, right? I never chased views. I never chased followers. I never chased views. And all I wanted was to find other people who I wanted to talk about Formula One with. So I responded to every DM. I responded to every comment in the beginning. Nowadays, it's become a little too hectic to reply to every DM and comment. But my followers who might be watching this know that I always take time to respond to my DMs. I built that community and eventually that community led me to 100K, right? Not because one reel went massively viral and then got me a few 10K followers overnight. No, my growth has been extremely steady. no exponential spike where 1 week I went from 25k to 50k. No, it has been the steadiest since the day I joined Instagram. See, there is nothing wrong in going viral. If one of your content has already gone viral, good for you. There is absolutely nothing wrong. What's going to happen is, without you knowing, you have set a benchmark for your next reel, right? If your next reel does not go viral, it's already putting your mood in a very weird comparison mode where you're like, yeah, this has half the views as the previous reel. It didn't go as viral as that. But trust me, right, it is still a massive number of views, but suddenly you are feeling a lot less thankful for those views. I have the same happy dumb face when my reel gets 30,000 views or 3,000 views or 300k views. It does not matter. That day, at that moment, I wanted to talk about something. I opened the camera, I spoke about it, I edited it, and I posted it. That's it, right? If you get attached to numbers, you're gonna get burnt out. You might follow up with another question, which is, how do I make sure that I put my best foot forward? I want to keep it simple, but in my genre, I need to do a lot of editing, I need to do a lot of color correction, I need to show a lot of angles, I need to dance very good, I need to have a crisp presentation. And specifically, if you're curious about how the algorithm works and if you need any help, please subscribe and follow me. I am starting this journey with you on YouTube. Last year I started on Instagram, and this year I wanted to try something different. I'm beginning my YouTube channel properly this year. So subscribe and I will give you a lot more insights about algorithms, how to pace yourself, how to plan content, what are some tricks and tips that not a lot of creators know that you can use to take advantage, how to start a business out of your own Instagram, how to earn money, how to do brand deals, how to attract the right kind of brands, what kind of agencies to work with. All of that, I will keep talking about it in my YouTube channel. Here is a quick final summary of the video. If you are planning to create content on Instagram to avoid being burnt out, here are 3 things I would recommend you do. Firstly, don't get attached to your ideas. Your ideas are not your priority. You being out there should be the priority. Your ideas are second. Secondly, don't overcomplicate your workflow. Keep it crisp. Make sure your workflow doesn't get too hectic. And lastly, numbers are meaningless. Don't go chasing numbers. Okay? Stay subscribed. I will see you all in the next video.